What's up, guys? It's your girl, Miss O, and welcome back to Mz.OSaidWhat. I know that I am light years late with these reviews. So what I'm going to do is cram 2 episodes into one review so I can get caught up and get back on track. So, you guys are here with me for a review with me as we get into Belle Collective Birmingham Season 1, Episode 5 and 6. I'm going to tell y'all now, like I've been telling y'all, Tiffany, I don't like her. But with that being said, do me a favor, as the intro plays, like the video, subscribe to the channel because I'm trying to get to that 500 mark, and let somebody know I'm over here doing reviews.
Said what? Oh, said what?
So we open the episode picking back up where we left off last episode, which is the scene where they met at the African American Civil Rights Museum. And they're getting into the conversation about what Synetta said to Tiffany. So Stormy starts off by asking Tiffany, do you think you did anything offensive at game night? To sum it up, Tiffany basically said, I don't think I did anything to offend you, but I want to come to you and ask you, did I do anything to offend you? So now they're going through this back and forth. Well, what did Synetta say? This part right here kind of pissed me off because one of y'all could have answered the question. Tiffany, you wanted to deliver to Stormy that Synetta told you something. When the woman asked you what she said, you should have told her. Stormy, when she asked you the question, you should have just said what you wanted to, what you needed to say, but you already knew what type of time she was on. So that's another thing. If you coming to me and telling me that somebody told you I said something, deliver the message on what was said so I can make sure it was correct. Then after this little back and forth, Tiffany say, Stormy, I see right through you. And my question to Tiffany is, what do you see? You see the lifestyle that she has and the life that she lives and you want it? Because that's how it's coming across. It's coming across like you jealous about something. I don't know what it is, but baby girl, we see right through you. And when I say we, I mean the viewers. Now, side note, when there's some shit going down, I would want Chanel there because the extra looks and gag looks, I was here for it. But then here come thing 2, Kendra interjecting herself that ain't got shit to do with her. But she's coming to this situation already with a preconceived notion, as you can see with her interaction with this scenario. Stormy had to let her know, I'm not acting up like y'all think I'm acting up. Your face pretty, you look cute. In other words, keep it cute, bitch, because I don't give a fuck about you being the mayor's wife. Okay? So in Stormy's confessional, she was like, I feel like it was some other conversations been had because this energy, and I'm paraphrasing, this energy that the first lady is giving isn't warranted. So I'm a little lost. So here comes Tiffany, long neck ass, up here acting like she don't know what the issue is. So she turns and asks Stormy, what did I offend you by? Come on now. Stop playing. Stop playing in Stormy's face. Stop playing in our face, the viewers. And stop playing with your face. Because you looking like a clown right now. So after a little bit going back and forth with that, Chanel interjects and says, the mop. That's what she was offended by. Like you didn't know this already. So now Tiffany want to act like she know what Stormy is offended by. So she like, obviously it was the mop because Synetta told me and not Chanel bringing it up. I'm trying to refrain from cussing. Chick, you knew what she was offended about. And you trying to make this whole situation a scenario that Stormy is too good to serve people. And that's not what it is. Because Stormy showed up in her Ghanaian / Nigerian queen dress picking up red Solo cups. So how's she not there to serve? You are intimidated by that lady for some reason, and you got to look within yourself and figure out why. So now thing two, Miss First Lady chimes in and say, what about a mop? Like you don't know. Like you and Tiffany ain't had this conversation. Y'all need to stop playing games. We too old for this. See, I would have just said, bitch, just don't talk to me. Be cordial, speak by saying hi, and that's it. That's it. So Stormy just wanted to play in her mind a little bit and just see if she really remembered what happened with that situation. So she asked her, do you remember it? She was like, yeah, I told you to go mop on aisle 4. And Stormy like, why would you say that to me? Like, why would you don't know me like that. Why would you say that to me? And we all wanted to know why she would say that to her as well. And then we found out she thought it was a joke. So in the confessional, Tiffany said, I think it's important to choose to forgive. And I don't think she's choosing to forgive. Nah, I'm not choosing to forgive. Because one, you know what the fuck you doing. And then two, you're creating the situation. You want Stormy to let go of the offense because it was a joke to you. And see, you're the type of person that offend people, then come back and apologize 2-3 days later after you realize that said person is pissed off at you, and then you do something else to re-offend. And then you want to throw Christ ahead of it. If you don't get the on, and she wants Stormy to find her funny bone. I mean, if you said something that was actually funny, maybe she would have kikied. So then Chanel chimes in and wanted to educate Tiffany. Like, do you understand the implication, the racial implications to tell somebody to mop the floor? Then she proceeds to be the psh that she is and cut that lady off. Like, you rude, you're ugly, and it's starting to show outwardly, if y'all catching my drift. So in Tiffany's confessional, she said, Chanel, calm down. It's not that deep. And see, that's what the issue is. Something that you think is a joke wasn't a joke to this woman. So then when y'all having a conversation about what offended her, you still coming across like you don't give a fuck. And that's cool, but that means you don't get to be around me. So Stormy begins to have a sidebar conversation with Chanel. Like, she thinks serving is funny. And then they chime in like, no, I don't think serving is funny. Kendra chimes in talking about it's an honor to serve. Why are you speaking? But then we can say the same thing about Chanel, I guess. But Chanel's trying to be a neutral person. Kendra is already got this preconceived notion. I mean, we seen it last, on the way up there on last episode. You know what I'm saying? So Tiffany says she thinks it's important to serve. And Stormy begs to differ. She said, you thought it was funny, and that's the difference. And Tiffany, you did think it was funny. You said it. You said you thought it was funny by asking her to mop on aisle 4. So at this point, I think Kendra was getting tired of the conversation like I am. So she say, friend, she said she was offended. Even if you weren't trying to, can you acknowledge that she was offended? So we're talking to Kendra. She's like, okay, I acknowledge that she was offended. So Stormy jumps in like, do you care? that I was offended? Then she proceeded to say, yeah, I care. But I also want you to understand that I was making a joke. So Stormy say, it wasn't funny to me. Tiffany said, okay, now that I know it wasn't funny to you, it's not funny to you. But at the end of the day, it was still funny to me. I mean, the backhanded apology is just, why are we talking? Just end the conversation here. I would have walked off. So they wrapping up this conversation. And Tiffany saying, moving forward, if I offend you, come to me. And Stormy said, don't offend me. Stormy, in order to have your peace, you are going to have to not be around Tiffany because she is a problem. So Kendra chimes in and says, if you are not woman enough, if you can't accept the apology, in a way, I would have cussed her ass out. I would have forgot she was the mayor's wife, and I would have cussed her ass out. Ain't woman enough. What me being a woman gotta do with the fact that that giraffe neck ass woman over there with them fucking shades on, who I'm ready to slap, is up here telling me to mop and making it seem like I'm too good to serve? No, I'm not. You got some preconceived notion about me that you need to let go, sweetie. I don't know what it is. Tiffany got a problem. And then Kendra is egging it on. Y'all both delusional. Am I tripping, y'all? Drop down in the comments and let me know. So then Tiffany, being her petty self, said, I see what the issue is. Darkness does not like light. And what I'm trying to figure out is, even though Chanel and Stormy is wearing black, the darkness is you. You the dark energy. So then they wrap up that conversation, and in the confessional said, I thought that was crazy, but now I know she crazy. And then Tiffany in her confessional says, I love a woman that's direct, and I love a woman that holds thyself accountable. And I guess that woman isn't you, Tiffany. So I don't know. So they move on as they disperse, and Tiffany going on this evangelistic rant talking about, I feel sorry for her. I feel in my heart goes out to her. Girl, you is psycho. Spinning this narrative talking about how can you say you above the program to serve. Girl, bye. I mean, am I the only one that's feeling like she's trying to spin a narrative that Stormy thinks she's better than everybody? So then we flash to Stormy. And Stormy and Chanel is damn praying on the street. I mean, if I had a little bushel of sage, I probably would have lit this and just, let the energy go. So now I'm going to jump over here to Miss Amber Jones. And she's been going through it because she is doing this. She's on her IVF journey. And her friend has came into town. She said they've been yanging and yanging. She's also her line sister. So Amber niece asks, how long does this process take? And it's 10 continuous days of getting the injection. And Candace is a respiratory therapist, so she is there to help aid in this journey as well. So Kylan asks her, Amber, you sure you don't want to just do this the regular way? So Kylan makes a comment that she need to find somebody to try with. And no, she don't. With the technology and the money and all the things, i.e. this journey that she's on? No, she don't. If she really truly want to be a mother, there are ways that she can be a mother. So Kylan got a confessional, and that's what I'm talking about, girl. She says, no shots, no egg retrieval for me. My auntie always told me to learn from her mistakes, and baby, I'm learning. So Amber gets the shot, and then she immediately becomes emotional. Her hormones are all over the place. It's got her crying. Her crying that makes Kylan crying, and she just didn't know that this IVF journey will be so emotionally draining. So next we move into Stormy, and Stormy is running around the house with her son, doing what she's supposed to do when you make the type of money you make. And we do find out that Stormy is going to be building a house for her parents, and I feel two ways about this because as children, when we get older and get status, our main goal is to make sure our parents is straight, you know. But sometimes that obligation comes as what's the word I'm looking for? A standard, because that's your parent. You know what I'm saying? You feel like you have to do it because that's your parent. And based off the behaviors that Miss Betty has displayed, her not being as supportive, and I understand that, you know, her age and how she grew up and the mentality she grew up with, but that's your child. They can want to paint the sky purple, and you need to support her. You need to be realistic, but you also need to be supportive, and she just never came off as supportive, and I think that's because she isn't affectionate. And I hate to hear Stormy say that she'll let everybody else know that she's proud of me and what I've done with myself in my career, but she don't tell me that. And I think a lot of parents don't understand the true value it holds to show up and be there for your child at whatever age. You know what I'm saying? But when a person can only get older in age and not wiser in knowledge, they may not know how to grow. And I think I can level out with this because I am adopted, but I do know who my biological parents is. Got adopted later on in life by my auntie and my uncle, and the pure correlation between my bio parents and them are totally different. Like, there are things that I can discuss. The same scenario that both of my moms were a part of, and I can express my grievance of that situation, and I have my bio mom that to say, I don't give a damn. That's just I'm me, and I'm going to continue to be me. And then, you know, my adopted mom would come in, and, you know, back then I wasn't aware that it would have that effect on you. And for the part that I play, I'm sorry, we can't change it. Well, I do apologize because I do have a better understanding. And those are just two different, you know, outlooks on the same scenario. So it could be difficult having a parent like that. But nonetheless, Stormy is building her parents a home on her estate, and I'm happy for her that she's able to do that, and I'm happy for her parents that they can be able to live out the rest of their life and not have to worry about, you know, where they're gonna live at. You know what I'm saying? So things begin to get emotional because Stormy is just thinking about the fact that her pawpaw isn't around to see everything that she's been able to accomplish. And he was one of her most supportive people in her life. He always believed in her no matter what she was doing or the dream she had. He always had the faith and the belief in her. And it's hard to lose somebody like that. She said that he always wanted her to have a child. And, due to the complications of her having her child, her papa was not able to meet her child. But Stormy, he was. When you were around while you were carrying your baby, he was interactive with your baby. He already created a bond with your baby, and that's something that I do want you to know. If you was around Papa while you were carrying your child, and he talked to your belly, rubbed your belly, your Papa created a bond with your baby, and take that, walk away with that. He is familiar with your baby. He didn't get to physically maybe hold him or get to visually see him, but the bond was definitely created, and I want you to know it was created. So we're going to move along, and we're going to get to the scene with Tiffany, Kendra, and Kayla. They are meeting for lunch, and Tiffany invited Kayla out because she wanted to get to know her. And in this sit down, you do find out a lot of things about the three ladies. Kendra expressed that she understands what Kayla is going through because she's been through a divorce. Kayla divulged that, she was depressed within her marriage and she turned to drinking, and Tiffany could relate to that because she said when her mom passed away in 2019, that's what she did. She turned to the bottle. So Kayla also lets the lady know that her dad passed away when she was 11. So within her prime years of yearning male affection, she was going on the internet and all that stuff. And she made a little comment like, not y'all over here being my therapist. And Tiffany wanted to frame getting her tea as, no, this is a sisterhood. This is what we're supposed to do. Girl. So Kayla turns the conversation around, and she asks, how did they like the African American Civil Rights Institute? And baby, this just set ablaze a conversation. So Kendra said we didn't get inside, and because Kayla wasn't there, she inquired on who all showed up, and that's when she found out it was just Tiffany and Kendra and Stormi and Chanel. So Kayla asks, what happened, and I honestly think Kayla is aware what may have transpired from Stormi's perspective, but I think she was asking to get Tiffany's perspective, and Tiffany is just nasty and rude. Every time I see Tiffany's face, Nene pops up in my brain when she was at their reunion, when she was like, so nasty, so rude. That is how I feel about Tiffany. So Tiffany says, I like for us to resolve things and not speak on it. And Kayla doubled back with a question that popped up in my head as soon as she finished her statement. Like, how are we going to resolve anything if we can't speak on it? And going based off y'all having a conversation when Stormi was speaking on it, you was so dismissive. You gave a backhanded apology and then want somebody to not feel some kind of way. You probably actually made the situation worse by being an ass. So, I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but Kendra was starting to get frustrated with all the questions that Kayla was asking. Because in Kendra's head, I know you know what's going on because Stormi is your friend, right? And Kayla, from my perspective, is asking these questions because I heard what Stormi had to say, possibly, because we don't know if she even talked to Stormi about this. But I'm asking you, what was you doing in this scenario? Because when we come together as a group and it's brought up, I am going to have a better consensus on how to respond with that. And she just being just nasty about her delivery and what she's saying. And the tripling down of you thought it was funny shows that you are a disingenuous person. So Tiffany no longer wanted to interact with the conversation. So then she flips it and says, I was being genuine. I was trying to get to know you, you know. So Tiffany in her confessional, well, and I'm paraphrasing, about the mob situation, own up to it and move forward. Girl, you are so contradictory. You knew about the mob situation when Stormy was asking you what Synetta said, and you decided not to say anything. You also acting like you're above reproach. I think that's my true issue with you. You acting like can't nobody have a conversation with you. You got the attitude, I said what I said, and I said what I said. And as a woman that's supposed to be walking in her faith with Christ, that's not how you move around. But hey, what do I know? So when Kayla at the table says, what I'm hearing is contradictory, it's not making any sense. Oh man, that struck a nerve. I do like Kayla standing up for herself because Kendra is Tiffany's little attack dog with a pretty face and a pretty wig on. Because Kayla fired back at her and said, I'm trying to have a conversation and you keep cutting me off. Like, I'm not talking to you. So Tiffany said, I don't even know where to go. And Kendra said, home. I'm finna go home because I don't need no new friends. She need friends, not me. And is this what the mayor's wife does? Both of y'all are nasty. Both of y'all are rude. Y'all both trying to cover up, use y'all nice nastiness to cover up with the Lord Jesus Christ. And both of y'all are full of bullshit. Tiffany, I see right through you. You used to be an alcoholic and now you want to run to the church and praise the Lord and act like you holy and sanctified and still being judgmental. Something's wrong with you. You actually think you healed yourself, but I actually think you need some help. So they wrap up their lunch. They pack their food up. Tiffany tells her, I'm going to get the check. Kayla said, okay, I'll see you at Galentine's. And she steps out of the restaurant. So Kayla steps out and she make a call to Stormy. And I genuinely think when Tiffany stepped outside and saw Kayla outside the restaurant on the phone with Stormy, she genuinely thought Kayla left. But just like Tiffany feels like Kayla is Stormy's little minion, everybody, and I mean the reviewers, think that Kendra is your little minion. So I guess y'all got minions. So now we're going to move on to Synetta's Galentine event. And Kayla is in her field. She is crying all over the place. She already know that she is going to have to confront the issue with Kylan. She didn't have a good thing with a good lunch with Tiffany and Kendra, and then she's also dealing with some personal crap with her ex-husband. So she just got a lot going on and she is emotional. I can tell you the way that Kylan handled the situation, seeing how emotionally drained Kayla was, I can appreciate that. She let her know, look, the Bells are my aunties. Don't do that. I already have, feelings towards that because it made me feel like I was in high school. So you my auntie, treat me good. Don't do that no more. Now, I also can kind of respect the slight shade by asking Kayla, are you naturally ditzy? And Kayla fired back and said, maybe I might just be. And we call it ditzy, but she's actually developmentally delayed. And I believe because, when her father stopped, when her father passed away, she may have shut down some kind of way. And then she had this let's just call it what it is, predator of a husband who got with her and groomed her, and now she has 4 children at the age of 38 and doesn't have a friend group. Like, she's learning, she's coming out, at almost 40. But either way, Tiffany is having a conversation. She's divulging that she feels like Kayla is, had an ulterior motive when they met for lunch. That she's Stormy's bodyguard / minion. And we feel the same way about Kendra. So Amber is disappointed because she cares for Stormy and Tiffany deeply. She values their friendship and she wants them to be on the same page. But it does not look like they're going to be on the same page. It looks like this Tiffany and Stormy storyline is going to continue, and I am going to continue to watch because I am not going to lie, I am entertained. So, those are my thoughts on season 1, episode 5 of Belle Collective Birmingham. I'm going to switch over and give y'all my thoughts and opinion on episode 6. At the end of this video, I am going to rate both videos and do my outro. So we open episode 6 with Tiffany giving Amber a call because she received a text message. It actually was a group message that Stormy sent out inviting her to, I forgot what they call it, but I guess it was supposed to be a sleepover or something, like a girls' night out or something like that. But she calls Amber and tells her the news. Amber is pretty excited because she does love Stormy and Tiffany and she wants them to resolve the issue. Tiffany is thinking that they are going to be on a better foot because the way they ended the last meeting, it didn't go so well. But she wants to move forward fakely. So we're going to move forward. And this is Fumi and her husband Sam scene. They are going out looking at houses. Fumi wants to move. Sam and the kids do not want to move. I'm not sure who the realtor was, but she was kind of egging the conversation on more on Fumi's side than Sam's side. Sam is looking at this house and he like, I like where we at. We got 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, a playroom. The kids don't want to move. Like, in Sam's head, if it ain't broke, why are we trying to fix it? Like, we cool where we at. Fumi is coming across that she needs to move for, to keep up with the Joneses. Fumi, this may not be the look you want to give, considering Dr. Osefo is over there with allegations of fraud over there. So, but anyway, I digress. Sam begins to ask questions. He finds out that this house sits on 20 acres, so he know that this house is going to be priced. So he asks, what's the price? And they say, well, what you think the price is? Fumi is trying to milk this. She telling him he deserved this house. He's old guy, chief daddy. He can build his sons a house that can turn it into a compound. So Fumi and the realtor wanted him to guess what the price is. Sam guessed the price for the home to be $3.5 million. The actual price of the home is 2.6. And Fumi came in and said, oh, that's a steal. And if you got the money, it is a steal. But the way that man turned and looked at her, he didn't say it, but I almost can guarantee you in his head, he said, bitch, is you tripping? You losing your mind. You're losing your mind, girl. So Fumi is trying to figure out a way that she can get this dream house that she wants. And he like, yeah, if you get a full-time job, matter of fact, you have over $400,000 worth of merchandise in your closet. How about you sell that? So we move on, and the ladies are all getting in the Sprinter van because they are headed to Stormy's estate. And on the Sprinter van, Tiffany lets the group know Which Tiffany is so contradictory because in 1 minute she don't want to discuss anything with the Bells. She only want to discuss it with Stormi. But then every chance you get, you want to discuss with the Bells about what happened, what transpired, and why Stormi feel the way she feel. I don't understand you. But she divulged to the ladies that the last encounter that her and Stormi had was not good. So she wanted to know their opinion. And her question to them was, should she talk to Stormi or just let it flow? And Amber chimed in and she was like, let's just check the vibe. Let's just see what's going on. Because you don't want to go get off the van and start to have this conversation and it just shift the vibe. But Amber, whenever Tiffany is in the room, the vibe is going to get shifted. Because when I think about how Tiffany moves when she's around Stormi, she makes me feel like she is envious of Stormi because she feel like she may deserve the life that Stormi is living. That's how I come across in the screen. Like when she walked up in the house, just her whole disposition when she walked in the house was just like, what? So then she goes and says, I can't believe I'm 36 years old and I'm sitting up here arguing about a mop. And see, that's my issue with you, Tiffany. You twist scenarios. It's not about the mop. It's what you said and how you said it. Like, who the fuck are you talking to? Period. So in our confessional, she says it's important for the Bells to come together collectively. Bullshit. But then she said that she is expecting an apology. And I want to know why. Why are you expecting an apology when you're the rude one? But we're moving on. She also tells the Bells that her and Kayla had a little spat. Fumi asks Kayla, did she feel ganged up on, which she did, and which she let us know that she felt ganged up on. As a viewer, I felt like they were ganging up on her. And I honestly think they brought her out to that lunch to hear how she felt and to try to gear her to be on their side about this Stormi being weird situation or being dark, as Tiffany would say. So when Kayla did express that she felt ganged up on, Tiffany said, yeah, I'm going to apologize there. And she will, Tiffany, you're quick to throw an apology out, but you don't mean it. So just shut up. Whenever somebody's start their conversation off when they apologize, well, since you feel, well, if you feel like, I'm telling you, that's what it was. But she owned up to it and she apologized. Womp, womp, womp. So Tiffany did say she thought Kayla was there to do somebody's dirty work, and Kayla said, no, I'm not there to do that. But Amber may feel different because she does have some kind of issue with Kayla as well. I think just Kayla is, developmentally stuck at 11, and being around these group of women, she's going to grow. She also needs some therapy, but she's going to grow. So also on the Sprinter, Fumi discussed her looking for a house. And basically she said she really don't give a damn about what her husband is feeling. She want the house and she going to do what she need to do to get the house. So Amber gets good news. She get a phone call from her doctor. Her doctor let her know that the egg retrieval was well. She can do the shot. I'm happy for Amber. I personally know someone that's in my friend group that went through IVF at least 9 times. It is a strenuous journey to be on. The people that love you and care for you deeply are deeply affected behind it. So I am happy that Miss Amber can move forward with her IVF journey. So we found out that Tiffany wants more children, which we've been aware. Her husband don't. He wants to get a vasectomy. And I really want to ask Tiffany, why does she want another child? Sometimes, being a woman is hard. And we get, I don't want to use this term, but it is the best way I can describe, graded on how much of a woman we are by the things that we're able to provide. If we're able to cook and clean, if we're able to bear children, we are like the top as prospects for being a woman. Like Tiffany, y'all have 3 children. 3 is an amazing number. I can see if you were pushing to have a child with your husband because y'all didn't have a child together, but y'all do. Be happy with the 3 that y'all have and move forward. I truly think you need to respect your husband's decision, because it's clearly a reason why he does not want any more children and want to get a vasectomy. But hey, that's your husband. You know what you want. Go for it. But don't make this issue create a bigger issue. That's all I'ma say. So they arrive at Stormy house, and Stormy has a photo shoot set up for them. We don't know what the photo shoot is about, but she got something grand up her sleeve. And Tiffany is questioning what she's going to do with those photos. But Tiffany, if you know anything about Stormy, you better know she's going to put on a good production with some photos. So even though y'all not in a good space, please believe she's going to do right by you. Fumi, on the other hand, knew the assignment, understood the assignment, and said, hey, I'm going to deliver, baby. All the ladies look great for the photo shoot. Now, we going to move along to the scene for the scene. And it's the dinner party. And I've watched a few people reviews on this situation. And as a person who is claustrophobic, like clinically known to be claustrophobic, people who aren't claustrophobic does not understand. It's something in the mind that traps you and makes you feel like the walls are getting closer and closer and closer, to the point where you will have a mental freak out. And I can only speak for myself. This is how it works for me. So when I see people say Stormy was being petty, she could have sat in between her, I kind of feel 2 ways about it. Now, being claustrophobic, I'm with Stormy. I'm getting up and I'm leaving. Plus, this is my house. Why am I sitting in the middle between Tiffany and somebody else? You know what I'm saying? Especially when there's been tension between me and Tiffany. First of all, I'll be finding out who set the goddamn table and chewing their ass out. Secondly, I feel like this was a catalyst for Stormy to do what she ended up doing, which was sending Tiffany home. I feel like Stormy already had this in her head. Like, if this chick come up here and start some shit, I'm just going to tell her to go home because you at my house. Which I totally understand and kind of respect, because you in my house. But I feel like you were ready, you were itching for something to pop off so you can play that card. But Tiffany don't know when to shut up. She asked her why she was laughing. She explained why she wanted to move from the middle seat. I'm claustrophobic. Tiffany got a real quick response with saying, I didn't know that. That's because you don't shut your mouth and open your ears to listen to anybody. That's another part of your problem. So Stormy tells Tiffany she can go, and Tiffany fires back and was like, you wanted to do this. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all know how I feel about Tiffany, but I don't feel like Tiffany was wrong because it was so abrupt. Now, if this happened down the line and it's just edited like this, y'all need to let us know, because it's not making neither one of them look right. But I do feel like Tiffany is right about this. You invited me here so that you can do this. So Tiffany proceeds to leave. Amber goes behind her because that is her friend and she wants to check on her. And as they're getting up, someone comes with blankets. And Kayla asks, do we keep these blankets? Kayla, I'm with you, girl. I would want to know if we can keep these blankets, and are these good blankets? Because it's hard to find a good blanket. So Amber in her confessionals, and I'm paraphrasing, she basically said they 1 and 2 are the same. They both got a mouth on them. They both not going to back down. And they just going to keep going and going and going and going. And that is her problem. Like, y'all both my friends. Somebody got to relax. So in Tiffany confessional, she said, I'm laughing now because you are the joke. Tiffany, you just nasty. I don't think you might have had a good relationship with your mom because you don't translate well with women. And that's what I'm getting here. So Stormy walks up while they're having this conversation. She said, if I didn't want you here, I wouldn't have invited you. And Tiffany's flipping it and saying, well, you disinvited me. So while they're having this conversation, it looks like that Tiffany is being ganged up, but everybody has the same question and everybody is coming to the same consensus. And my thing with this is, Tiffany, you not reading the room. Everybody that's in your friend group or in this collective understands where Stormy was coming from. You want to quadruple down on you thought it was funny. Fine. We're not saying that you can't think it was funny, but you gonna acknowledge that Stormy felt some kind of way, and you need to change your behaviors if you want to be in the group, because you thinking that you got the end all be all and how I feel is how I feel and what I said is what I said is why you getting this energy that you are getting from this group of ladies. So everybody getting in their confessionals and everybody is just like, Fumi said the last time a mop was in it, they was cleaning up the mess, not starting it. Kayla said after hearing the whole situation, the mop comment was not funny and I'm the queen of not being funny. So somebody asked Amber, was she team Stormy or team Tiffany? And she said, I'm team neither because the situation is stupid over a mop. And it's not over the mop. The lady was being dismissive and demeaning. And she wanted to try to twist the situation as if Stormy thinks she's better than everybody, that she can't even pick up a mop because she live on the estate and she got helpers. Girl, you creating something in your head. And people like her, I can't be around because I've been to cuss you out. And I probably would been to put my hands on you too. So then Tiffany said you need to learn how to express your emotions to the person that offended you. Girl, she trying to talk to you and you just being a bitch. I'm just going to say you just being a bitch. That's why don't nobody like you. That's why the people be talking about you. You just nasty. So Stormy said, get out my house. You can go. Matter of fact, Amber, get your friend. Get her up out my house. So Stormy then hit the switch. She said, since you want to play games, get this bitch up out my house. Amber, get this hoe up out my house. Get this bitch up out my house. And it's because you kept poking the bear, Tiffany. You don't know when to shut your ass up. And I mean, your fucking mouth cover your whole face. So we should have known that you don't know how to shut up. So as Tiffany leaves, she gets on the phone with her husband and she basically saying, she laughing at Tiffany, at Stormy, because she don't think that Stormy is a good person and that she better be careful because she'll mess around and lose her wealth. But the real issue between these ladies is that they are one and the same. They both are being nasty towards one another because they can seem to get along with all the other ladies within the collective. But these are my thoughts for episode 5 and 6. If you guys made it to the end of the video, please drop a green heart. Drop down in them comments and let me know what you guys are thinking. It's very interesting to see sometimes watching the same TV show, but everybody having different perspectives. So I would like to know your perspective. Episode 5, I gave it a 7.5. Episode 6 is going to be a 10 because it delivers some drama. But with that being said, I'm your girl, Miss O, and this is what O had to say.